We're here with Robert from Parker Jewish Institute. And Robert, it's very nice to meet you.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for sponsoring this event with the
It's our
Historic
pleasure.
Society. You guys are doing great work and helping all these nice programs that we have going on. I got to know Parker Jewish from Lena
Yes.
at one of the previous events, and when she started telling me about Parker Jewish, I had never known about it, but what a great institution.
Yeah.
And I've been reading all those things. Even during the pandemic, you are feeding people. I mean, you're out there helping people on so many different levels. Tell everybody about Parker Jewish.
Okay, so Parker Jewish itself is a 527-bed facility located in North New Hyde Park. We're on the campus of Long Island Jewish. We're not directly associated, but we work very closely with them. That's a misconception most people have when they come into the building. The building's been around since 1973 in New Hyde Park. It's been actually around, the Parker Jewish as a whole, historically, has been around over 100 years and started in 1907. The building itself in New Hyde Park is nursing and also rehab. But not only do we have that, we also have our own dialysis center, which makes us a little bit more unique than other facilities.
That's the Queens Long Island Renal Institute.
That is correct, yes. So the Queens Long Island Renal Institute is actually in our lobby, and that gives us the ability to have families that come over for not only rehab, but also nursing. It's much more convenient than having to go out for any type of services. Most importantly, dialysis, which can be very taxing on the body.
Yeah.
And that's probably one of the larger things that differentiates us. During, you had mentioned COVID-19 during the pandemic, one of the things that we actually created was something called the Family Call Center. Between the hours of 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day, we have staff in there that can pick up calls, answer questions. The reason we did this is that during the pandemic, people weren't allowed to come into the building. Family members weren't allowed to come in, and we had to figure out a way to get information from them because they were constantly calling us, and the doctors were always helping out family members, and doctors always helping out the patients, so they couldn't pick up the phones all the time. So because of Michael Rosenblut, Lena Scacco, and the rest of administration, they decided to put together this program, which is the Family Call Center, which is what I currently run, because I've been doing it for the last couple of years. Yeah, and that's become very beneficial to not just Parker, but also the families.
One of many, many services that you provide. And the more I'm hearing, the more I'm learning about it. Something that I loved, first time I met Lena when it was over at the Totten Trot, Port Totten, that the Historic Society had done. At the end, there was a table, and she was there. I started talking to her, and she started talking about some of the mottos, some of the slogans that represent your brand, what you do. And I loved age in place.
Yep.
And that, especially after taking care of my mom before she passed away, but also seeing, I had a senior citizens home at a film studio I had out in LA, and I looked at what an awful facility that was. So when Lena started telling me about what you do in age in place, it's like, oh my God, that's the way it's supposed to be. And having something happen with the way it's supposed to be is wonderful. Tell everybody about, to elaborate. This is a wonderful thing about live TV. Sir, why don't you just move out of the way?
1 second, we're just finishing up.
So,
It's all right, you look good. Nobody cares. You look good.
So tell everybody what you do to help people age in place.
Okay, so it's really more of it's aging in place. It's a continuum of care. So the way we think about it is we want to be able to handle somebody from when, God forbid, anything happens to them, to end of life. So one of the things Parker has is we also have our own Advantage plan, which is Age Well New York, and that's our daughter company. And that was opened about in 2014, I think, around that time. And that was to give family members Medicare Advantage, managed long-term care, all these different options. But then, let's say they need help in the home. Let's say they need hospice. Let's say they need dialysis. All these services started to come out of Parker from our nursing and our rehab. And the most important thing was that if someone were to come into our facility for rehab, if they needed to come back for nursing, they needed to come back for hospice, any of those services, we'd be able to stay with them throughout that entire time so that not only would they have a continuum of care or they can age in place, but it also gives them the ability to know where all of these people are coming from. You're with the same group, so it's kind of a family atmosphere. The aides know them, they love them, and they want to make sure and take care of them, give them the best help and best aid they can do.
So it's pretty much it's not like a caseworker, but the amount of care you give to someone the same people kind of stay with them the whole time.
Yes.
So they just become your family. They're like embedded in your family, and that's really what you want. And that system of people, one person, the next person, and no one knew who the next person was. But you do it the right way. You take the same person, and they follow you through the whole process. That's called aging in place, and that's a wonderful service. So I want to thank you for talking to us.
Oh, listen,
We'll get
thank
to
you
talk
for
to
your time.
again.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Pleasure meeting you.
Thanks for having us.
Parker Jewish
Have a great day.
Institute.